And the other question I have is about upstream versus downstream. And how do you know if you're going downstream, are you in contrast? Like, how do you know if you're just having contrast or you're having a bad day?
So let's put this upstream, downstream analogy in the context of path of least resistance. So you were source energy before you came into this physical body, and a part of you is in this body. You're sifting through the contrast of your life experience, the variety of your life experience, and becoming more, launching rockets. And so this vibrational version of you, which is the dominant version of you, is continually evolving. And so there's this vibrational version of you that is all that you want. Now, that vibrational version of you, since law of attraction is responding to all consciousness, that means law of attraction is responding to that vibrational version of you, and law of attraction is responding to the what you've got active in your vibration right now version of you. Because this non-physical source energy vortexual version of you is so far and away dominant, just the longevity of it and the fact that source is all tied into it, that means that as law of attraction responds to this part of you, it creates a really powerful attraction. Cooperative components are being called to it. The question is, are you allowing yourself to be a cooperative component? But this is what downstream is. It's allowing yourself to move in the direction of who you really are. So the answer, the specific answer to your question is, there is contrast every step along the way. The question is, this is a path of least resistance. You're not ever going to hear us say, get on your path of no resistance.
Right. Oh, right.
It's the path of least resistance. It's the path of least resistance, which means it feels better to think about your husband than it does about your abusive work environment.
Yeah, my assistant. Why is that funny?
Because they are noticing how active that person is in your vibration.
Well, the project's done, so, there's just a little follow-up. But so I can't, having this rascal in my life, I can't be in
That's why it doesn't change. You're not taking seriously.
I can't having rascal
That's
in
why
my
it
life.
doesn't change. You're not taking seriously what your vibrational relationship is with that person.
Right.
Because
I just feel like the word.
there's a vortex version of your assistant, and there's a reality version of your assistant. And you're so fixated on the conditional reality version. So we're about to say something really profound. Stay with us. There is the reality version, which is the conditional version, and there's the vortex version, which is the unconditional version. Unconditional love, conditional harassment, unconditional alignment, conditional want to kill myself today.
Right. I think there's like 60% of him there that's nice and like 40% that's abusive. But you can't be downstream if you're hanging out with someone like that.
Who he is or how he is being is not part of this discussion.
It's my issue.
Not part of this discussion. Your perception is the only thing that matters, and you've got control over it, which you are not exercising because you don't believe us when we say it's your doing, not his.
Right. And you can't be downstream. Right.
And we get why you don't believe that yet, because almost everybody is training everybody into condition. If people behave the way you like them to behave,
then I would
you
be
compliment
happy.
them, you praise them. When people don't behave the way you like, then you criticize them.
And then it's in my craw, right? I love that word.
Stuck in your vibrational
Stuck
craw
in my craw.
means you've practiced it, and so it comes easiest right now. But not really. It's just the most practiced vibration. It's certainly not the path of least resistance
and I'm
vibration.
not going downstream.
So,
this is an upstream situation.
Of course.
And nothing I want is upstream.
So why do you do that? Why would anybody do that? You do it because, and here it is, drum roll, please.
Yeah, tell me. I'm taking away.
Get ready. They're all trying to tell you. Get ready. Drum roll.
They know, right? They already know.
This is the reason. This is the reason that you and others do that. Because you haven't been selfish enough to care about your feelings.
Right. Because my it feels really bad.
Because it hasn't felt bad enough.
Oh, it feels so bad. It feels so bad. It really does. It's like I'm flat on my face, but I get up and I'm like, I'm going to try this again.
So just for clarification, just give us some words to define or describe the discomfort that it feels like.
Like I failed, I'm unattractive, I'm not smart,
All right, now we ask for an emotional word.
Emotional. I'm sorry.
Wait. It's all right. This is part of the clearing process for you. We asked for emotional words. You gave us conditional words.
Yeah. I feel.
Wait. Just hear us. So you say, I feel bad because the condition that I've decided is that I'm not smart based upon this feedback, or I'm not attractive based upon this feedback. But we want you to not go into the justification for the emotion. We just want you to say, it feels terrible. It feels miserable. It feels unhappy. It feels defeated. It feels vulnerable. Because if you make it unconditional for a while, if you make it not about the condition but only about the feeling, now you've got some easy choices. Happy, sad, aligned, misaligned, eager, lethargic, depressed, angry. Better choice. When you make it unconditional, when you make it emotional, you've got choices you can make right now. You can't change the condition because that bugger is not going to be different today. That person is going to be exactly as you have allowed yourselves to define your relationship to be. But when you say, oh, this isn't about a condition. This is about an emotion over which I have more control than I've been allowing myself. And don't feel bad, because almost everybody is responding to the condition. Almost no one makes purely unconditional emotional choices. But you can. You'll like it when you get the hang of it. And sometimes it's easier than others. And you know what? Those people who are the most difficult are giving you the greatest gifts, because they're giving you an opportunity to show yourself that you can be unconditional. Because the cooperative ones, they don't give you any advantage. They're just nice and you observe them so you feel good, and then you're running around trying to find nice people and trying to control the niceties of others. You see? That never works, because as we said earlier, enlightenment is a fleeting thing, and so is niceness. It's fleeting, and even the nicest people will let you down. If you're counting on their behavior for the way you feel, then you feel vulnerable, then you feel out of control, then you feel like you're failing, then you feel like you can't do this, then you feel like you're not powerful, then you feel like you're not smart, then you feel like all those things that you said. Ooh, that's such a good discussion, isn't it?
Yeah.
So the pieces that we want you to take away from this are, you can't really quickly affect a change even in the expectation that you have of some people, because some people have just been like that long enough that they have trained you, and you have allowed yourself to be trained into an expectation about them. And sometimes that condition, you would just be so much better just to get yourself away from them. We are not ever saying to you that it's your job to just stay there and teach yourself alignment anyway, because
and clean up your vibration with this person.
Because sometimes it's just easier to remove them from your experience. If every day you're pulling your hair out, then they're clearly not the path of least resistance. And that's what happens to so many of you. You say, oh, I ought to be able to do this. I should be able to make myself happy in the face of all of this abuse. We say, no, you should not. That's not what the art of allowing is. It's not making myself happy in the face of abuse. It's putting myself in a place where the face of abuse isn't in my face all the time.
Right.
You see. So you might want to have a conversation with that person.
No.
You might want to have a conversation with a person like that. You might want to say something like, you know, I really want to feel good, and you are the toughest nut that I've ever had to crack, because I don't feel good when I'm around you. I don't know why I let you get to me, but you are a miserable human being from my point of view. And I don't mean that you're miserable. I mean that I'm miserable when I interact with you. Now, some would say, I have this really clever teacher who tells me that I could clean up my vibration and I could like you anyway, but you're not really worth it.
But I'm a crier.
You're not really worth it. If you were my husband, you might be worth it. If you were my child, you might be worth it. But you are really not worth it. Or is this person worth it? Is it the path of least resistance? In other words, would you go bankrupt without this assistant?
No, he's done. You saw me.
Would you lose your way?
No, I had worked with him on a book, and it's done. It's just like some edits that have to be done. But I'm a crier. That's the problem, Abraham. I wouldn't get through that rampage without breaking down in tears, and that's just humiliating. See?
And stupid. And unnecessary.
And he's
and
like,
your choice.
And he would just stare at me like,
and a habit that you've been practicing. And an excuse. It's an excuse that no longer applies.
No, I
you
don't
know
need to
more
cry.
about that. You just in this conversation, you've come so far, and now you are arguing for your limitations unnecessarily.
And I'm going to be invincible someday, like you said, right? Like this
No.
one, I don't know.
No. Invincibility is not something that you're going to be always. It's something that you already are sometimes. It's something that you sometimes are. Invincible means...
People take me down. I'm sorry. But my husband takes me up. So...
Nobody's taking you anywhere.
I'm taking myself down. You're right.
My opinion of you takes me down. My opinion of you takes me up. I wish that you were like you so that my opinion of you could take you up, but my opinion of you is controlled by your behavior. And since you're not willing to change your behavior, and since I want to feel good, I've got to find another way to have an opinion of you, which means I got to separate myself from you a little bit because you keep performing in a way that evokes from me. Every now Esther will say, that person is really, really hard. It's just hard. It's just hard. That person rings my bells, yanks my chain. That person is hard. And every now and again she says, too hard, not worth it. Too hard, not worth it. And you have to decide when the path of least resistance says too hard, not worth it, and when the path of least resistance says too hard, but worth it. Too hard,
I got to unconditional love. I did positive aspects. And
oh,
then
blah, 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 blah.
I went right down and listened to you, and it took me right down.
I got there, but I can't stay there.
No,
I
can't stay there, and he's not a family member. And I got my mother back, and we're going on the Alaskan cruise. What's better than that? And my husband's going, and
there are a lot of things better than that. Day-to-day happiness, way better than that.
Yeah.
Control of your emotion, way better than that.
Yeah.
Temporary excitement because a cruise makes you feel better most of the time.
I think that every day. Well,
Alignment, consistent alignment, ability to stay in alignment with who you are, that's all that matters.
And my best friend Jane is here, and we use you every day, and I don't want to take up too much more time. I'm so sorry. But I appreciate you.
So we have some questions for you.
What?
We have some questions for you.
Oh, God, thank you.
You used the analogy of upstream, downstream.
Yeah, I love that analogy.
So...
Oh, you're taping me? Oh, my God. Don't order the DVD. Don't order it. Sorry.
This gets better and better. So